Assalamu alaikum, my name is Ayub and I'm the founder of the Halal Network, the biggest community online for Muslim entrepreneurs. I've seen over 5,000 Muslims start a business and fail, but I've also seen hundreds of Muslims succeed with their businesses, alhamdulillah. In today's video, I want to show you what separates the best from the rest, which is mainly one skill. I'm also going to talk to you about 3 steps to master that skill so that you can be amongst the best. And lastly, by the end of the video, I'll give you action steps so that you can start learning this skill today. So the most important skill you need if you want to make money online, offline, get a better job, the only skill you need is marketing. And the simple definition of marketing is making people want to buy your stuff. Same thing if you want to get a job, it's making people want to hire you. If you have an agency, is making people believe that your thing works. It's always about making people see you and understand they need you. That's it. And that's why our first step is going to be understanding our audience. And to do so, we're going to break it down in 3 steps. The first one is I want you to understand the difference between understanding your audience and knowing your audience. Now, the main mistake people do when they're trying to understand their audience is they directly move to making an offer or to trying to sell them something, and they talk about themselves and what they do, whereas people buy when they feel understood. So how to go from knowing your audience and making them look like you cannot see them from afar, like, yeah, that guy, I think I saw him there, to, yeah, I think he's struggling with this, or I can help with this, there's no real pain. And you're selling a conveniency, something he could be like, if it's too expensive, I wouldn't buy it. Whereas if you understand your audience and you make them feel understood, it's a completely different sale you're going to be doing, where you have a deep understanding of who you're selling to. You have a real avatar. That's what we're gonna talk about it in a second. If you wanna get into business, there's no real pain. Whereas if I talk about you wanna make hijrah, you wanna quit your job, your 9 to 5 is too boring, I'm focusing on pain. The last thing is that allows me to sell a medication, that allow me to sell a product that solves all these problems for you, and I can charge a premium for that. Now, how can I know you so well is because I have these 4 questions. Don't copy them word for word, but understand what is the main goal behind the question and then frame your questions depending on who you're talking to. But that works for anything when you're trying to make money. If you're trying to get a better job, understand what is the current day-to-day for the guys that is going to hire you. What is the company struggling with? What would they hire you for this specific role? What is the big dream for this company? Why they're hiring you for? What is the good outcome? What happens if they don't hire you? And then you can make an offer that makes sense. You can make an ask that makes sense. It ties back to the main 4 questions where you want to understand their life, their pain, their dream, and their fear, which would allow you to create an avatar. What we call an avatar is the average guy that you want to help. But to do so, you need to have clear understanding of these 4 points so that you can build your avatar. How do you create the perfect avatar so that you can talk to them just like I'm talking to you, and you can squeeze on the pains exactly where it hurts? You want to find 100 people and ask them the 4 questions. By the way, it can be done by you asking them or doing your homework to find it without asking 100 people. So what you want to figure out is what their daily life looks like. So who they are, what they do, what their age, where they are, the whole thing about them. The second thing you want to understand is what they struggle with. So like, what's the pain? What's wrong with your life right now? What could be better? The third thing leading you from that pain is what could change. So if you could change one thing that would give you the best outcome, what would that be? What would something better that could happen right now in your life? The last one is, okay, now the opposite. What would be the worst thing that could happen if you don't fix this? If you don't have the big dream outcome, what's going to happen? Most of the time it could be the same situation and you're going to keep being frustrated. Sometimes it could be just you having a downside that's going to happen if you stay in the same situation. There could be loads of things, which is why we are asking 100 people and we're taking the 80% most common answers. And lastly, the pro tip to make sure you never forget who your avatar is, or you don't get too far from your avatar when trying to reach out to them, create content, or just think about an offer you can make them. You want to make sure you write a 1-sentence detailed description about them. For me, that could be saying you're named Ahmed, you're 27-year-old from the UK, you're currently working a 9 to 5 being a software engineer for a tech company. You want to get married and you want to get out of the country before 29 years old. Otherwise, you're going to stay there forever. You're going to have a mortgage and you're going to hate your life. That is a super detailed answer. And now if I want to create content, make a video, what would Ahmed want to learn today? And then boom, I can talk to him directly and I will attract automatically different people that are exactly like Ahmed and that would like to buy my products. You can also do this by reversing it once you have existing clients and ask your clients what their current situation is. Do the same thing about 80% all their common answers, and then only talk to similar guys that are your clients. See how it flows super easily, and you can replicate this across all the industries. And now that you understood about avatars, the next thing you want to do is position yourself as the hero solving this avatar's problem, changing his life. And the main mistake people do here, when they find the avatar and they're like, yeah, I understand, I want to help guys who are selling courses, I want to help them with emails, they're going to focus on the process and those emails. So I'm going to write up those emails and I'm going to do the two email sequence campaign and follow up after 2 days. And the guy guy's bored. He's like, yeah, you understand me, but you don't care about what I care about. What I care about is what happens when I get those emails, how I'll feel when you'll do it. I'll be happy. I won't have to deal with it. I'll have more time in my life. That's what makes people buy stuff. That is your stuff. You have to figure out the logistics. You understood who your avatar is and how to talk to him. You also understood you want to position yourself as the outcome. The last thing you need to make sure you do properly is communicate with them, because if you understood who they are, understood how to talk to them, but when you talk to them, they don't feel understood and you don't communicate it properly, everything you've done before falls into pieces. Communicate effectively. You have the ABC framework. Super easy, even a 5-year-old can understand. The first thing you want to do, acknowledge their situation. I get it. Yes, I understand. And you want to make them feel understood. Obviously, you've done your homework before to know exactly what they struggle with, but that's what you want to do. First thing when you talk to them is acknowledge the situation. Now, what I want to do is bridge the gap. I've been there, I've done that. I understand you, and I'm going to bridge the gap. I was a software engineer before. I was flat broke. I hated my life. Then I started the business and alhamdulillah, I made money online. I can show you exactly how I've done it so that you can have the same results and make money online and make hijrah and do everything you like by following my steps. And lastly, the call to action. That's the little claim that they just need to do to make sure they get the results. Action steps you can take if you want to apply your learnings today. The first thing you want to be doing is picking one audience that you want to serve. Look at your life, look at any moment where you were in a bad position and you got out of it, and you're going to help people overcome the same things. You can also look at your skill set and look at where they could be applied, and then you're going to pick a specific audience. That could be helping copywriters find clients, that could be helping restaurants get more people in the door. So you want to just find people that you could help and write down just the niche that you're going to be working on. The second thing you'll do is go to these people and ask them the 4 questions. What's their current life situation like? What are they currently struggling with? What are their current frustrations? The third thing is, what is the big dream outcome? If I could wave a magic wand and get your life to flip 180 degrees, what would happen in your life? What is the big dream? What is the best thing that could happen tomorrow? If you could have 5 things that you want to do and just highlight one that would be the biggest one that you could solve, which one would that be? And finally, what would be the worst nightmare that could ever happen if you don't get this dream outcome? Collect all the answers and you get 80% of the most common ones, and you create your avatar. Once you have your avatar, you write down a detailed description about it so you can talk to him directly like I'm talking to you right now. And finally, you want to make money today, so you're going to send them an offer today using the ABC framework that we talked about before. Make sure they feel understood, making sure you can help them achieve the results they want. And if you want to know how to make money online, then you can watch this video. I covered everything.